What is going on, guys? My name is Lan. Today, Mania is getting in another video, and for today's video, we're talking about finally a roster change has gone down yet again. We obviously talked about complexities last time, which I will link probably on this video somewhere if you guys want to check that out. But now we actually have a change with EnVyus, and I was talking. Even everyone was kind of mentioning this at the beginning of the entire, once everyone realized that roster Mania was about to go down, everyone thought, EnVyus has to make a change. And we saw their first season performance. They looked fairly good. I mean, it wasn't like a terrible ending for Envy. They ended up finishing 5th, but everyone knows the issues that EnVyus was kind of suffering throughout the season. They started off very well, I believe, heading into UMD South Carolina. I think they actually had the first seed, and then ever since that there were certain arguments. Aches, in some ways, was kind of released off the team. He was kind of hanging in some cases, and they added Havoc onto the roster for a short time. That's like a substitute. That was their substitute player. It was rumored. It was never official, and I don't know if we'll ever see this be announced or not. Maybe if Aches goes on a tear being released from Envy, he'll let us know. But it was rumored that he was actually going to be replaced by Havoc. Then Havoc thing didn't really work out, and they brought him back. So this team was just suffering with a number of different issues, whether it was internal issues with the arguments between Aches and Slasher that constantly were upsiding. It was just always showing that the EnVyus team had so much potential, and then ever since the arguments took over, ever since the internal issues took over, they were never the same. And then especially with them not having the best performance at the playoffs, that was kind of like just the icing on the cake. I'm pretty sure heading into that event, they kind of knew that things were basically over at that point, and it looks like it has been. So the roster change has been waiting. Like I said, we've been waiting for these roster changes to happen for the longest time, because the league starts up on, I believe, on the 19th or something like that. So this Tuesday, it's currently for me the 16th. It is a Saturday. So on Tuesday, which is only a couple days, is when the actual season begins. It's not roster lock, but just gotta keep that in mind. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how the rest of the season kind of plans out, and with the short amount of time that we have until then, how these rosters end up getting announced. I'm expecting to be making a lot of videos very shortly. So with all that out of the way, what ended up happening with EnVyus, they just announced it a couple minutes ago, and I'll kind of read the article. Also, we'll have a link in the description to this article where they talk about maybe just a little more in depth the reasoning behind what's really going on with their team. But I'll basically be explaining this video just down there if you guys want to kind of check it out. But they ended up releasing both TP and Aches, and substitute in John from Luminosity and Apathy technically on Team Liquid. So for those who don't know exactly, both TP and Aches are great players. I think the decision to drop Aches in some ways was a good one, not taking anything away from Aches or TP in any cases, but when you have the opportunity to pick up Apathy, who is the was, I guess you could say, the #1 free agent on the market, it was just, it was to no avail what was going to happen with this team. I think even a couple days ago, Apathy was giving, in some ways, like hints, like what team he was joining. Like this, my teammate is a world champion, which kind of annoys me a little bit. Not taking anything away from Apathy, but I just wish that it was kind of taken a little more professionally. But still, I can imagine, he's really excited to be on this team and whatnot. But still, it is pretty interesting to see he is and landed on this team. I know there was a number of different offers that Apathy did receive, and I think honestly he definitely chose the right one. There was also rumors, going on with John as well. John coming from Luminosity, there was rumors that Diabolic and Apathy would be joining this team. It was always Apathy in the conversation, and it was kind of like Diabolic, would Diabolic join this team or not? And then obviously it was John, who was also rumored. Like, those are definitely the top 2 players besides Apathy who were in contention to most likely be joining this team. And I think honestly the decision between John and Diabolic, they basically play a similar role. Diabolic's more of a main slayer for DT when it comes down to, he kind of gets in the hill, but John to me is just the all-around player that you want being a sub, because John is going to be in the hill constantly. He's going to be rushing you out aggressively, I believe, and I can actually check really quickly. In his, for Season 1, he ended up having a 1.04 KD, normally rocking something like the kinetic armor, which I think is really good. I think, honestly, this is a great pickup for EnVyus, kind of just talking about him off the start here. John's a fantastic player. He's going to be the guy getting in the hills constantly, and the thing is, now with their sub play, because both Apathy and John are both sub players, that they now have a dominant sub presence, which is so big in this game. The rumors that have been kind of existing around, with the patches and stuff, they're going to be making the Vesper a little bit better, what's really going to happen with the overall meta and stuff. So even if it kind of translates to maybe a little bit more sub-heavy, these guys are ready for it. Because you also look at the beginning of the season with EnVyus, is that Slasher, toward the beginning of the game, obviously was an AR. Coming from Advanced Warfare, Denial, Elevate, whatever team he was on at the time, he was always a dominant AR player. Well, coming into Black Ops 3, Aches says, I'd like to rock the AR, so Slasher obviously translates back to a sub more, kind of becomes that third AR, I guess you could say, in order. And he's used to it, so he gets used to running an AR back in Advanced Warfare. He switches to a sub back in Black Ops 3. Aches actually gets subbed off the roster, like I mentioned a minute ago. Obviously, Havoc's a sub player, so Slasher goes back to the AR. So Slasher, in some cases, has been switching from an AR to an SMG constantly throughout the last 7 or 8 months, and has done a fantastic job at it. I mean, the guy was like one of the leading KDs in all of the league this year. Ended up finishing with a 1.06 overall KD, and from him switching constantly just goes to show, as young of a player as he is, and say young, I mean, obviously his Call of Duty competitive career, as young as he is in being involved with the competitive scene, you know, since like Ghosts, I guess you could say, it is amazing to see how well he translates from one weapon class over to another. I think it's just really, really good to mention. So even if it is like evac, where you run 3 subs, Slasher's ready for it. Obviously, Caps can be main AR at all times, but Slasher is always ready for that opportunity, along with John, along with Apathy, who are incredible sub slayers already. Particularly with their game types and whatnot, I think they're going to be a really good hardpoint team, because like I said, you got to mention up as well, you know, the slayers on this roster, incredibly, incredibly talented. I think, honestly, Jkap, I've been talking about everyone else but Jkap, and it kind of just goes to show how underrated this man is. I mean, you look at his overall KD. He had a 1 KD. I believe it was like exactly at 1. But he is just a fantastic player. Like, in every Treyarch title, or just a standard Call of Duty game where he's most of the time going to be on the ground, Jkap just thrives. I mean, we've even seen, and I don't know how many of you were back in Black Ops 1 days, like how talented Jkap was at Black Ops 1 was almost the most dominant performance that I've seen any player in any title ever. Like, that just goes to show how talented this man is. And granted, you know, he hasn't had the most success back in the last couple of titles, regardless of his Call of Duty Championships win. But regardless of that, though, he's been kind of regarded as, you know, not the best player in the world. He's not a top 10 player, but he can kind of be thrown from roster to roster. He is really good in this game, and I'm really, really excited to see him, in some ways, kind of lead this team, as he is basically the captain of this roster, I believe, and at least should be, at least in my opinion, if he's not already. He is a great player, though, and even, like, heading into MLG World Finals, or like, I guess you could say toward the end of Advanced Warfare, Jkap was on a roster with Looney, Octane, and Aqua. Both Octane and Aqua decided to leave heading into MLG World Finals. At least it was a couple of months before then, I think, or at least around that time. So it stuck with him and Looney. And I believe they ended up picking up, what, Gunjar and Jerd, I believe. Jerd from TCM was on loan for TCM, and Gunjar was like a free agent off of like U4X or something like that. So, I mean, he's had a number of different changes go out through his entire career. And then heading into Black Ops 3, they get this new lineup. They get Slasher, they get Aches and TP. The duo is back, and now the duo is a free agent again. And it's free agents again, I guess you could say. So, I mean, this man's gone through a lot. He's had constant changes. I mean, he's a veteran in the scene. I think he's going to lead these guys very, very well. And I think also the thing is with this team, you know, that I can kind of mention and kind of bring up, is that they're all wanting to win. They're all very, very motivated. I don't see any clashes with personalities. I think John's really easy to work with as long as he's on the right team. I've even seen back in Advanced Warfare, even when he's on like teams like VVV, even on SB for a short time, when he was on those rosters, he always was kind of a little bit frustrated because he knew the potential that he had and the potential that his rosters could have. It just never really worked out. So I think that the fact that John's now on a great slaying team, it is fantastic. And I could go on and on and on about Apathy and how talented Apathy is. Everyone knows Apathy. I mean, Apathy, I think I said Apathy like 5 times in a row there, but that man is just incredible. I mean, even in Ghosts, even in Advanced Warfare, I've said whenever he is on, whenever he's playing his best, he is one of the best in the game. And even, we've seen a little bit of instances in the Call of Duty World League with him subbing in for Elevate throughout the season, and even obviously with Team Liquid where he had a dominant performance. Of course, didn't really end up making it through, but it seemed like on that Team Liquid roster at times, he was like the load that was kind of carrying everyone through, even Study as well, and even times, you know, Burns Off and Search and Merc at times, even in respawns. But it seemed like for me on Team Liquid, we got to see a little bit of a glimpse, and everyone was kind of witnessing how, okay, I was watching an 8's call, or watching 8's the other day happen, and I think Apathy was playing. The team that he was playing against, I don't remember who it was exactly, but the team he was playing against were like, it is so much fun to play with Apathy because there is so much stress off of me because he is so aggressive, he's constantly getting in your face, and a lot of the times he's winning his gunfights because he does have a pretty positive KD when it comes down to respawns. So I think even the addition of this, so if there were any issues with the kind of coming in the roster, I think these guys are going to have a fantastic time. I definitely think this is a better EnVyus team. I think the spirits are higher. I think the communication's going to be a lot better, at least in some cases. You know, granted, the chemistry is going to take a little bit of time to develop and stuff, and all that time, you know, with chemistry and stuff. So don't expect them to have the greatest of starts to a regular season, but you're going to see at least a little bit of a glimpse. If they don't already start off fantastic, you're going to see little glimpses of them destroying teams in hardpoint. Search and Destroy, to me, could be a little bit of an iffy type of situation. I think Jkap's a fairly good search player as well as Slasher is. I'm not sure how talented Apathy and John are at a consistent basis, especially, you know, with the roles that they're going to have to fill. But I think in regular games and regular respawns, these guys are going to be one of the top teams in the game, and I cannot wait to see the matchup, you know, with the Titans of respawns, being even FaZe, Rise, and even Opti Gaming at the highest level. So this team to me looks absolutely fantastic. I want to know what your guys' opinions are. You know, the reunion that's kind of going on between Slasher and Apathy, you know, teaming once again, even at the beginning of Advanced Warfare, whenever they were teaming with Aches and Sensor and stuff, when they ended up beating Opti Gaming at the beginning of this, at the Advanced Warfare season. You get a lot of number of storylines between these guys, and I want to know your guys' opinion on this team, on this new roster. Your thoughts, free agency. TP's even tweeted out, you know, saying if I don't find a league team, and apparently it doesn't sound like he has found a league team. There were rumors of him joining Luminosity and stuff. What are your thoughts about this new team? Do you guys think that TP and Aches have an opportunity to get on a league team? And which league team do you think they could possibly be on? Will they be a duo consisting and moving on in the league? I want to know your guys' thoughts. But yeah, guys, that has been Roster Mania up to this point. I know I kind of showed you guys a little bit of a graphic going on, and I will have a conclusion to all the Roster Mania once this stuff kind of slows down. But expect a lot of videos to be coming up very shortly, because I believe that this is only going to be the beginning of what is to be a fantastic and shorter Roster Mania season, but with a lot of stuff going on in a short amount of time. So guys, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Make sure to subscribe for future content, as well as all this stuff that's getting ready to happen. So guys, thank you so much for watching yet again. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a fantastic day. This next time. Peace out.